Hello everyone, I'm Marine Lefort and you are listening to Les Voix de la Photo, the podcast that gives a voice to the professionals behind photography and visual culture. For the past 5 years, I've had the chance to speak with those who shape the field, from curators and editors to agents and institution leaders, diving into their journeys, insights and perspective on photography today. Today, I'm speaking with Max Gorbatskyi, curator at Open Eye Gallery in Liverpool. Hello, Max.
Hello.
Originally from Ukraine, you were previously a curator at Mistetsky Arsenal in Kiev and co-founded the platform Photographies, dedicated to research and visibility of Ukrainian photography. And I wanted to do a special thanks to tty.art. You gave me the advice to speak to you. Together with Viktoria Bavykina, you have curated the Ukrainian Pavilion at the 2000 and 2004 Venice Biennale, a major recognition of your work at the intersection of archives, identity, and contemporary image making. So thank you for being with me today, and we are in the studio of one of your photography friends. So thanks to her.
Yeah,
we are in London.
Thanks to her as well.
My first question is always the same. Is because I really like to start from the beginning. In your family or in your friends, or do you have some? Did you have some link with picture and photography when you grew up?
Yes, I had a very direct link. My father was a photographer.
Which kind of photographer? He was a professional photographer? Or?
He was for some time, but it was technical photography. So, like, for his own creative practice, he had it as a hobby, but at the same time, he was working for the factory and like electronic plants. So he photographed technical things. And also, he made portraits of workers, I think. So it was like a photographer at this particular industrial enterprise.
So when you were young, did you wanted to be a photographer as your father? Or?
I think I was also fascinated by these things, the cameras. We had so many of them at home, and it was just something unbelievable to think that you can get a picture of the real world with this strange metal thing. So I really liked it. But when I got older and when I started to think what I would like to do, then I realized maybe photography is a really difficult thing.
Why difficult?
Because so I wanted to do something creative. I enjoyed looking at paintings, looking at photographs. I had some catalogs from exhibition at home. But I thought you just work with, like, you look onto this world and you need to arrange things somehow so they look interesting and original and create something out of it, or out of ordinary, which I thought it's incredibly challenging task. So if you have a pencil or you have a brush and you paint, or so different type of image making, there you can do whatever you want to, whatever you have in your head, in your imagination, right? With photography, I thought it's incredibly difficult to find something interesting in the ordinary things around you. So I thought, I'm not gonna do photography. I'm gonna go to the drawing school and I will start painting.
So you went to Beaux-Arts?
No, it was like I don't know how you call it in English, but it's not a university. It was a school, like a painting school. So it was like a hobby. So I was.
It was a hobby.
It was a hobby, yeah. But I was thinking of maybe becoming an architect. So I needed to know how to draw, so I can pass the exam to get into architecture university. So it was the beginning. But then I started to take photographs and read some books on composition and like fundamental things about photography. And I really liked it. So I kind of thought maybe I should try. to work with this reality around me.
So what was the first try? What was the first experience in the photographies field?
Landscapes, I think. I was just trying to do very ordinary, traditional photography, just to repeat the things I saw in those books or magazines. So landscapes, trying to find some interesting compositions to work with, light and shadow, stuff like that. Just very basic ideas about how photographic images operate.
So did you go to architecture school finally?
No, I did not. Funny enough, I went to become an engineer.
Okay.
In my first
Which kind of engineer?
Underground building.
Okay. Link with the architecture a little bit.
Yeah, but it's more linked with my hometown. I'm from Kryvyi Rih, which is a city of miners. So iron ore extraction, quarries, and it was basically the main thing for the city. So I just decided, okay, I'm gonna be an engineer as well. I've never become an engineer. I haven't worked a day. So I started to work for local newspapers when I was in my second year, I think. And since then, I realized I probably will do photography. So it's no way I'm gonna become an engineer.
Yeah, but it's good also to have this experience, because sometimes maybe if you need to, I don't know, to speak with someone with more technical background with your study, maybe you can approach more. I don't know.
No, I think it helps me a lot, to be honest, especially with exhibitions, like real life processes. You sometimes really benefit from understanding how things work on technical level. Like if you can draw a sketch, a 3D model of the space, I don't know, to maybe sometimes less with photography, but more with like installation. It's really good to have general understanding of weight, size, materials, and stuff like that. It's not that I'm professional in it, but I can understand some things.
And so you started to write for journals. You said for the press?
Photograph. Not to write, but to photograph.
Ah, okay.
So I was a photographer.
But how did it happen? Like, did you met someone, or like, because I think it's not easy to know, and you at this time we were like study engineer to you send your work to the press. Like, how did you, or maybe you have a friend, or how did you start?
I think I just started to make pictures, and then I sent them to the editor of this newspaper. I sent to a couple, I think, and I can't really remember, but I think they wanted someone. They needed a photographer, so they probably thought I was really young and really early, not very experienced photographer, but I think I had a good eye, to be honest. So that's how it started. No particular connection. I just sent my pictures and asked if I can work for you.
So you started to take picture, and how did you come to creating photography?
So I was working as a photographer for 5-6 years. And then I realized that maybe I'm more interested in other people's work. And still, as it started, I started to realize how challenging is the work of a photographer. Maybe I felt too much pressure of making something original, meaningful, trying to work on the project which was relevant to me, but also relevant for like specific, I don't know, like for today. So something, the interesting subject matter, something which I care at the same time, trying to find the aesthetical form for it. Like so many things which I found really difficult. They were still interesting, but I realized maybe I'm more interested in other other people's work and other projects. So I can work with different, really diverse artists and projects, and I don't have to focus on me. I can just look around and try to find whatever interesting is there.
So what was the first step to move from photography to curator?
I went to study arts management first. So I went from Ukraine, from Kryvyi Rih, where I lived, to Bologna in Italy to study management of art, which I thought was a practical step. So I didn't go to study curation, for example. I thought I'll probably become a creative producer or a manager first. So I tried to understand the industry and how all this works. So yeah, it was an MA in arts management. So I spent 2 years in Bologna, which was a fantastic time. Then I went to Open Eye Gallery as an intern.
In Liverpool?
In Liverpool, thanks to Erasmus Plus grant. It was possible back then because UK was still in the European Union. So it was a great opportunity for me. I was really impressed what they were doing at Open Eye. I first discovered really what the socially engaged practice was, how they worked with communities.
Yeah, could you describe what is Open Eye Gallery for the people who don't know this place, and maybe what is different from other gallery place?
So Open Eye Gallery is a photography gallery in Liverpool. It's one of the few photography dedicated spaces in the UK outside London. Open Eye was founded in 1977 in Liverpool. It's been in several locations over this time, but since 2015, I think, Open Eye is in a specific purpose-built gallery space on the Liverpool's waterfront. And Open Eye is a gallery which champions the socially engaged photography practices, work with communities, and trying basically to, I don't know if it's a right thing to say, but like rethink or think what photography gallery can be today in the time when we all share images and photographs exist in internet and Instagram and other outlets. So what is the goal and task for a photography gallery? This is where I work now.
Yeah, exactly. So what did you do as an intern? It was like
I think my role was officially called a program assistant.
Okay.
So it was like shadowing the curator, helping with some maybe practical stuff during the install. Not much was expected of me, but I was just trying to understand how the photography gallery works and what they do. Was incredibly useful. So I spent 3 months at Open Eye before moving back to Ukraine. And after a short while, I got the position of manager at Department of Contemporary Art at Mistecki Arsenal in Kiev. This is where I started to. It was my first full-time work in the culture sphere. So I spent a bit more than 3 years in Arsenal.
And can you describe also this space and what was your role?
Mistecki Arsenal is arts and culture complex, is what is officially called, I think. So it's a bit similar to Tate.
Okay, it's public.
It's public, yeah, it's public. It has different departments and laboratories. So there was a contemporary art museum department. Before it was a theater. They also produce one of the largest book fairs, or book festivals, actually, Book Arsenal. So I worked in the Department of Contemporary Art, and I gradually started to focus more on photography and trying to bring more photography into the programming. And I then curated a small exhibition of young Ukrainian photographer Nazar Furik. There was the first exhibition I curated on my own in Arsenal. Then were others exhibition, and my last one was really large-scale exhibition. It's called Sensitivity, Contemporary Ukrainian Photography, where together with other two curators, Alexander Solovyov and Solomia Savchuk, we looked at this 30 years of Ukrainian independence. So basically looking at this period through different photographic practices, trying to trace the major paths and changes and approaches photographers took.
How long did you stay at Mitewski Arsenal?
More than 3 years.
Okay, so you really have the time to discover also the institution aspect, to work in a museum and to build some big exhibition. And this is at this time you co-founded Ukrainian Photographies, or it's after?
No, it's after. It's so together with my wife and co-curator Viktoria, we moved to London in 2021. We moved because I got the Chivnin Scholarship and went to study history of photography at Birkbeck, University of London. And then, obviously, the Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine happened in February 2022.
Mm.
So this is when we started to think what we can do as Ukrainians to support the resistance of Ukrainian culture, especially at this time. The Russian propaganda and all the harm going from the eastern border was so intense. So we thought we can create a platform where international researchers and photography professionals can work with Ukrainian photography and produce English language texts, research texts, or curate online exhibitions. So we try to support the Ukrainian photography, not through because other organizations, they were really good at safeguarding the heritage, like museums or like when the things are tangible. But we thought facilitating the research and work with Ukrainian photography is also really important task to do. So this is when we started the Ukrainian Photographies.
And it was just the two of you.
Yeah. Just two of us, yeah. we were three because we also work with our friend Daria Titarenko, who made the design for the platform, and also Moodly, the company from Austria, who created the website. So we were really grateful for their involvement. But basically, on daily basis, it's only two of us, and for some time we didn't have enough resources, time, and funds to run it properly, especially when we were busy with curation of Ukrainian Pavilion. It took us the whole year of work and other projects. So 2 people is not enough to work on the platform, especially if these 2 people are doing other projects. So now the hope is we're gonna try to activate it again. So if anyone wants to write something for Ukrainian photographies, we will be very happy to welcome this person.
So you study at Birkbeck College, and it was after you moved to Liverpool again?
It was before. So it was when we lived in London for 2 years, and then I moved to Liverpool in 2023. So yeah, after I graduated from Birkbeck.
And in last year you created the pavilion at the Venice Biennale. What does this opportunity represent for you and for Ukrainian contemporary photography? Because I think it's not maybe for at the Venice Biennale, most of the time it's more contemporary art. So do you think why it was like you and and what does this opportunity represent for you?
So firstly, there were no photographs in this exhibition. So even if we were curating it as Ukrainian photographies, because officially each country has a different system how to appoint curators. In Ukraine, the Ministry of Culture makes an open call, so they invite everyone to submit their project ideas, and it has to be an organization. So organizations apply, and we applied as Ukrainian Photographies, as NGO, and we were selected. The opportunity was huge, especially because now it's very responsible, because Venice, with all the criticism of Biennale, it's still a major platform, and everyone comes to Venice to see what different countries have to offer. So obviously, Ukraine's cultural offer was a responsible thing to do as curators, and we wanted to communicate maybe some ideas about Ukraine and Ukrainian society in this particular moment in time. And that's why we applied with this project called Net Making, where we were looking at all the horizontal practices and basically different ways of society, Ukrainian society self-organizes, and how this net of people grew, how this initiative grew, and how different communities coexist, and basically how we all are so different, but this is what makes us maybe more able to come together as people. So we had 3 projects, and in one project there was 15 artists. So there was we have a really small space in the Arsenale, and we have so much stuff in this space, but it was intentional. Maybe it was a bit messy, and we wanted to work with contemporary artists, but at the same time acknowledging some historical background and acknowledging the real life at this particular moment in time. So all of the artists, they were working in a socially engaged way, in one way or another. You see, I'm trying to explain what we did, and it already took me 5 minutes. So it was a lot of thinking behind this project, and the main task was to create something meaningful and what really represents this particular time in Ukraine.
And how did you organize? Because when you had the answer, you have been selected for the pavilion. Did you build a team? Did you look for money? How did you? Yeah, because I think there are many steps. So maybe some people who can be interested to know all the things you need to do. Because I think, as you said, it's a lot of responsibility. It's a big visibility. So I think it involves a lot of things. So can you just try to remember the different steps?
No, I will never forget. So. Yes, all the things you mentioned. So when we got selected, we basically had to build the team from the scratch. So it was 2 of us. So we invited great architect Alexander Burlaka, who is also an artist. We invited Elena Kasperovich to be a producer. We invited our friend Misha Buksha to be art director, head of design. We needed to fundraise. We reached out to many potential donors, and we are really grateful to all the organizations who supported us internationally, really, from British Council, Goethe Institute, and maybe I cannot mention all of them now, but we are incredibly grateful. It's only to the support of all these organizations we were able to implement this project. So it was a very institution building experience, but limited in time. So you have 1 year for this. Actually, you have to start immediately when you get selected, and you need to build a team and find money, which sounds exciting and interesting, but incredibly difficult things to do if you if you don't have this. Yeah, and then you need to, because officially we were curators, so our job was to come up with the project. But in real life, we were producers and founders of this temporary organization, which existed for 1 year.
Yeah, I think it's
a great experience, though. I mean, it can be a little bit intense, but I'm not gonna complain. So I'm happy we had this experience.
Yeah, I think it's like a mountain. I think you need to go step by step, and at the end, when it's the opening, you are like, oh, we did. Yeah, we did.
At the opening, you're incredibly tired, and
Yeah.
you just want to do the right thing, say the right thing at the opening, and talk to everyone, be nice and celebrate. But you want it all to pass, so you can just go and have some time to relax. I think this is the case for many exhibitions, to be honest.
So during this preparation, you stopped to work as a curator?
No. This is an amazing thing that Open Eye was a partner of the Ukrainian Pavilion, like a main organizational partner. It's through Open Eye we managed also to collaborate with other organizations and people. So I was full-time Open Eye curator at the same time, full-time.
Open Eye as a link with Ukraine?
Yes, it has, because Open Eye works with Ukraine a lot, and Viktoria and myself, we work as curators for several projects. One was, the major one probably, was called Home. So we started it in 2023 when Liverpool hosted, it was a really unusual occasion, Liverpool hosted the Eurovision Song Contest on behalf of Ukraine. And so the British Council and Liverpool City Region, they come up with the idea of Eurofest, which is a large-scale program of events across the whole Liverpool City Region. And Home was an exhibition at Open Eye and also in 5 other venues across the whole Liverpool City Region. And we had, I think, around 40 partners across the city in cafes, bookshops, train stations, public places where we showed the photographs. So, and Home then went to a UK tour supported by Arts Council. One of the stops was Stills, great photography gallery in Edinburgh. And it finished in UK Parliament in February this year. So yeah, Open Eye is very much involved in Ukraine because I'm a Ukrainian originally, and we focus on our program not only on Ukraine, of course, but it's one of our focuses.
And as a curator, you mentioned Home. How did you approach this project? And because what did Home mean in your context of displacement, migration, and war? Like, what was your?
I think there was this understanding that for Eurovision, very diverse audiences will come to Liverpool, and they are not necessarily the gallery goers. And we wanted to create something accessible yet meaningful, and so it can tell about Ukraine and have a theme which is probably generic, but also everyone can relate to this. So it was a conscious thinking of what would be the right way to engage with different audiences. So that's why the concept of Home came about. And I think it really worked out, because when we had the store, we met with different communities in the UK, different communities of Ukrainians, but not necessarily also with people in these places like Rochdale, Wigan, or Edinburgh, and everyone can relate to the theme of home. So through this very fundamental concept, I think we were able to communicate with people.
And do you manage to keep a link with the Ukrainian photography community in Ukraine, I think?
Yeah. I think we do, because we work with Ukrainian photographers. We try to invite them to the projects we do. Recently, we organized so the last project Viktoria and I curated, it was at Open Eye. It was called No Iconic Images, Views of War. So it's the exhibition about contemporary depictions of conflict. And as a part of this exhibition, we also had a symposium on war photography, where we invited academics and curators and researchers and also practitioners. And we had, for example, Evgeny Malaletka, who is a Ukrainian photographer, famous for his work he made in Mariupol. So he came to UK and gave a great talk at the symposium. So we always maintain those connections, of course, with Ukrainian photography sector.
I've been one time to Liverpool, but it was a long time ago. Are there a big community of Ukrainian people in Liverpool, or not really?
It's definitely bigger now, because obviously the scale of displacement is terrible. So there are people from Ukraine almost in every European country, in UK and different cities. I don't think it's so big, but
yeah, there is not a link. No, like a historical,
not much, I would say. Yeah, but there is a community now, and they get together on quite often, I think. So there's a Ukrainian club, and yes, there is a community now.
And how do you see, it's a big question, but how do you see contemporary Ukrainian photography evolving right now?
Of course, the full-scale invasion affected it, because photographers who never focused on war, or even not on documentary, maybe genre, they started to work in this new reality, and their practices changed. And many artists just work with the theme of war, because it's something you cannot look away from. So that's why there's a change in subject, of course. But I think Ukrainian photographers and artists, they were really great at... Not everyone can continue work when the conditions are that terrible and maybe unbearable for many people, but some can even, I don't know, get more active. So there are many artists and photographers who created fantastic projects during these last 3 years. So I think there's definitely no decline in Ukrainian photography. I think it has a great future. I think young artists are doing a great job. And obviously there was increased interest in Ukrainian art and photography recently because of terrible events, but still there is a way we can and we should try to use this increased attention. So as what we do.
You think this interest is it's because of the horrible picture and photograph we can see of the war? Why?
I think it's because Ukraine was relatively unknown for quite a long time. And partly, and maybe this is the main reason, is because Ukraine has been seen as part of Russian or Soviet cultural scene. And when maybe for some people this discovery happened that Ukraine is actually a really different country and it has its own history. And if you try to understand Ukrainian culture through Ukrainian lens, not through the post-Soviet or Russian studies lens or Slavonic studies, which are also really often centered on Russia, you can discover a new cultural territory. So it's like you discovered a new land. You would want to explore it. I think this is what happened. And we, as Ukrainians, we need to try to facilitate this process.
And did you see a move, like a move of photographers outside of Ukraine and they go back, or like, how do you see like
You mean now?
The movement? But I don't know, like since the war.
Obviously, some people left Ukraine.
Yeah, so
Men are not permitted to leave the country. It's really hard to tell because there are so many different stories. And yeah, some photographers, they live elsewhere, but many stayed in Ukraine and they work in Ukraine. I don't know the percentage, like how many.
No, because I was thinking it also can be not really a big problem, but something if because of the war the people go out of the country, and if there is like no photographers who can take picture and like experience.
Yeah.
We will have like a gap, in the Ukrainian.
No, there are photographers. There's definitely people,
they
artists,
to stay.
photographers who stayed and who work in Ukraine. And for some, it's the fundamental thing. They're not going to leave and they're not going to just switch to a different subject, and they instead gonna keep on reporting if they're like reportage photographers, or documenting if they think they're documentary photographers, or creating the art projects, but in Ukraine. So it's definitely, I don't see the problem. There'll be a gap.
Are there artists, collectives, or trends in Ukrainian photography today that particularly inspire you? I don't know if you...
There are, but working with the whole of Ukrainian sector, I think I wouldn't want to pick someone in particular. There are projects I really enjoy, but it's not one and two, there are more. So I just encourage everyone to have a look themselves.
Yeah, and maybe also to go to Open Eye to see what you do.
Yeah.
I have one question in two parts. What advice would you offer to young curators who want to work in the in museum or galleries industry? And what advice would you offer to photographers who also want to maybe to work with a curator as you?
It's very difficult two questions.
Yeah, I think you really you can, because I think you are in touch with a lot of maybe people all around the world, cultural worker, but also photographer. So maybe you have seen some practice, or maybe something are not good to do, or something are good. Like it's really like what you.
I mean,
it's not like a academic advice. Like,
but I can only talk from my perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think from my perspective, again, I think when people start to work in culture, or if they only study and they planning to work in culture, they have very high aspirations, and they think of it as a purely intellectual, creative work, which is in reality not only that, and even more, you sometimes start from very practical background. So if you want to create a show, so okay, if you're affiliated with the gallery, if you're employed in the gallery or museum, you probably have a program. They have a program, so you need to understand the context, the background, the commitments they already have, the partners they have, the focus they have maybe, depending on where they are, depending what they were doing before. So many things to take into consideration before you can come up with your own brilliant project. You need to come up with something relevant. It makes sense not only to you, but to local audiences or board of directors maybe, or partners, or who can fund this project. And to know all these things, try to understand all these things. It's nice to start from maybe creative producer, manager kind of roles, so you can understand how the institutions work. If you're critical of institutions and you want to be an independent freelance curator, maybe it's not the right path. But still, there's always a practical part of the thing, which is, because this nice and creative, it's a tip of the iceberg sometimes, and this work and practicalities are the major part of things you do.
So maybe your engineer studies, maybe,
I think the experience makes you successful in this job, because no matter how great was your course and how many MAs you have, because I have a few, but I don't think this is why I am where I am now. It's just because start to think about what's relevant, what's interesting, how to make it happen, and how to work with people. This is what makes a curator or creative producer. And artists, they also need to be good at presenting their work and maybe trying to look at the relevant issues and subject matter, and to understand where it can go. So I just think so many things to consider. So try to be real and maybe good at communication and good at organization first, and then the opportunities will come. It's not very romantic answer, right? It's very boring.
No, but it's really, I think it's what we need to hear. So, and in fact, like I think I have the last question I want to ask you. It's because I think you, with your point of view, it can be interesting. Say, do you have some advice for for people or artists in context of political and social instability?
In the context of political and social instability,
like war. Like,
this time is
because
terrible.
So like yes, maybe you have I don't know some thoughts about it.
I don't know. I just think I can't really listen to when someone talks about art outside politics or sport outside politics or anything outside politics. It just makes me wonder, what the hell is this person thinking about life and how this all works. So I think in culture, in arts, it's very political, and sometimes you maybe need to acknowledge your own responsibility in these processes. So of course you can work with purely aesthetical exhibitions or come up with some very abstract, incredibly bright idea, but it's also a way to influence, maybe from this very humble position of curator or artist, but you can also influence the time and politics you're living in. So I think it's our own shared goal has to be now to try to secure what's left of ideas of truth, democracy, rights.
It's a lot of pressure, no?
There is some pressure, but everyone has pressure. So I think
but yes.
No, maybe it's a lot of pressure, but everyone can decide how much involvement they want to have in it. I think this is what makes it exciting. If it's only for the art for art's sake and for art market's sake, maybe it's also a way, but it can also be exciting to understand that you can at least just a bit, but you can still influence things, real life things with your work.
Yeah.
It sounds now ambitious, like I'm trying to influence things. I don't know how successful I am, but the aspiration, I think, is there.
No, and I think you are right. Like, art is political, and we can't just extract. Yeah, just it's not just picture. It's not just words. It's always. Thank you, Max, for this conversation, for your time, and really, like, I invite everybody to go to Liverpool, to Open Eye Gallery, and maybe to follow you on Instagram or on the social media. So thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Les Voix de la Photo. In the notes of this episode, you will find a sign-up link to receive the Voix de la Photo newsletter. Sorry, it's in French, at least for now. Every 2 weeks, you will get a summary of the latest episode, exclusive content, my recommendation for reading, exhibitions, or conferences, and sometimes even gifts. Also, to help spread the word about the podcast, I'll invite you to leave a comment and 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you want to share your thoughts, suggest people you would like to hear, or learn more, you can follow me on social media, on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. See you soon!